Hello, 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 Sisterlocks family. We are here with another podcast. Today, the title of our podcast is Everything in Moderation. I am Cassandra Lawson, your host for the Sisterlocks Media YouTube channel, and I am here today with one of my former students, Rochelle. Rochelle, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for thinking of me. I am excited for today's show.
Mhm. Now, you got up early. Tell everyone where you're at right now.
Right now, I'm located in Honolulu, Hawaii. I am literally right about 15, 20 minutes from Waikiki. So that's where I reside, and I love talking about everything Sister Locks. Just a little bit about me. I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland, and a few years ago, my family and I relocated to a new state just to try something new. And I have been enjoying every minute, and I can't wait to talk with you today. So let's do it.
Okay, so let's back up a little bit. Let everyone know, how do we meet?
I decided to go to home office and book a course, and word of mouth was like, oh, if you're going to book, you have to book with Miss Lawson. You have to book with Miss Lawson. And I said, okay, let me make sure that I go online and choose your course. And I did. And that is how we met. I flew to San Diego home office and took the Sister Locks course. So that is the very first time I was introduced to the Sister Locks methods. And I have been loving it ever since.
Rochelle, tell me, why did you decide to get Sister Locks originally?
I had a friend who was visiting me here in Hawaii. And one thing about living here, you want a hairstyle to match your lifestyle. You want to be able to get in the water, you want to be able to exercise, you want to be able to be out in the warm weather. And sometimes our hairstyle can get in the way of that. So I had a friend who was visiting, and she had Sister Locks, and I loved her hair. That was my first introduction to Sister Locks. I'd never seen them, never heard of them before. And she explained to me, how it worked, and who her loctician was. And she told me to check out the website and to find out more about it. She thought it would be perfect for me. And so I checked out the website, and I started asking around and asking friends and family. And the more people I talked to, I realized, oh, I have Sister Locks too. Oh, you never knew? These are Sister Locks. And I just did not realize how many of my close friends and family had their Sister Locks that they were rocking. And they said, well, whatever you do, go to home office and take Miss Lawson's course. You won't regret it. And so I booked online and I flew to San Diego to take the Sister Locks course. And I literally less than 6 months before taking that course, I got my Sister Locks established. So I was able to go to the Sister Locks class with my new Sister Locks and start my Sister Locks journey. So that's how it all started, just word of mouth and loving on someone's hair.
Okay. Now, why did you decide to take the class? Why did you decide to take that leap?
Well, what happened is, being on an island can be transient. So, people come and go. And I wanted to make sure that I had a good foundation for my hair. I knew I wanted to keep my Sister Locks. And I knew that when my daughter got old enough, she already was loving my hair. She was like, Mommy, I want Sister Locks too. And so I really felt like I wanted to have a good plan for our hair future. And so instead of just taking the course to learn how to self retie, I decided to just go all in and learn how to do Sister Locks and how to maintain them. And it was crazy. I got home, and before I even could land, I got my first booking. And it was things in your course that helped me to have the confidence to even, onboard this first new client and to, have the conversation with her about her hair and to just really dive in as soon as I finished the course, because this was my first road into the hair world. I had no previous hair experience. I have a nursing background. But the one thing that I knew is I love caring for people, and I respect their hair the way as if it was my own. And so I knew that I would do my very best to represent Sister Locks and also make sure my client was happy with their Sister Locks journey. And so before I knew it, word of mouth, people were saying, oh, I love your hair when I walk in the store. Who does your hair? I do my hair. All right. And I also, another thing that happened was when the loctician who moved away, who had to move to a new state, she referred me to another loctician here. So I was able to get my hair maintained by her. And she was actually the one who inspired me to hit the ground running and really just, you can do this, Rochelle, you can do this. And so I highly encourage anyone who is thinking about Sisterlocks, whether you want to have Sisterlocks for yourself or you want to start that journey of having a Sisterlocks business, to really think about that and how you can service your community, because you never know how much help you could be.
Well, I can definitely relate to being on an island. My husband was stationed. We were in Okinawa for about 3 years, and I was doing Sisterlocks. And when I moved there, I didn't really want to do Sisterlocks full time. I said that I would just help some of the local trainees and relax. But very quickly, I started on taking on clients because it is transient. The woman I was helping, she moved like 4 months later. you know and so you really have tight bonds being on an island. But I just want to ask you a question about something that you said, because you came in when you decided to take the class, you had zero hair background. How did you feel coming into class? How did Splunk support you in that, not knowing anything?
Well, I was green. I was as green as they come. And the first thing, that one of the first conversations you had with me when I started that course, I mean, of course we have our work that we are going to get done before our in-person work. But one of the first conversations that you had with me, you said, "Oh, you're going to be great. You're going to be great at this, because you won't have to let go of some of that other, you don't have education fighting education. You're going to learn, because it's all you know." And I understand, it's been 3 years. I understand what you mean by that now, because I was able to dive right into the information that you guys were teaching us and apply it. And I think the biggest thing is community, having a class of newbies, and us all getting together and learning together, growing together, and listening to your storytelling, your teaching methods, and your hands-on method. It helped us to have the confidence to touch people's hair. So I think building the confidence, it starts at the very beginning with Sisterlocks, having that in-person training. That's what I found helpful. Also, a lot of the work that we completed before the in-person session, it helped to just give you an insight and like a bird's eye view, like, hey, this is the world that you're coming into. This is the world of hair, of Black hair. And this is what you need to know and what you need to learn. So I felt very comfortable coming into the class once I saw that I was in a room full of, people at all different levels, hair experts, new people who are new to hair, people. And it felt community like. So I appreciate that.
Okay. Well, it seems like you took the blended class, and
Yes.
that's when you have coursework before class and you have 2 days in person. This year, we introduced the all in person class. We call it the 3-day class. So basically, they come in and it's 3 days. And for the most part, the first day, they do everything that you did online.
Oh,
Okay.
wow. That'll be
Yeah.
nice.
So it's a lot of information, but it's funny because that first day we're really just uh, barely touching the topics, introducing the topics and things like that, the early lessons, and it just makes them feel like they're missing something. I know you probably felt like that when you were doing the coursework online. You're just like, wait a minute, this isn't everything, but that's done
Right.
on purpose because it allows you to layer on the information, and we use multiple modalities. And by the time you get to the end of your course, you're surprised at how much information you've been able to retain. And that all goes to Dr. Cornwell. Her professor, her teaching back. She's a professor and she has a teaching background. And so that curriculum is really designed to help you learn. And what's interesting is that when people come into the classroom, I sent out a welcome letter and I let you know, do not compare yourself to anyone else. And when it's happened is people with prior experience, whether it's cosmetology, braiding, locking, things like that, it really can be a hindrance. And I'm talking to myself. I'm a cosmetologist. So when I took the class, I'm like, oh, I know this, I know that. Whereas
Mm.
Sisterlocks itself is not based upon cosmetology or any of those things. It all comes from Dr. Cornwell. So I joke, but I'm serious when I have these professionals in my classroom. I'm like, you're going to have a hard time because it's hard to let go. So coming in fresh like you did, it really does, make a difference, and it's not putting you at a disadvantage. Okay.
Right.
Um, so you took the class, but recently this year I saw you again. How did because I haven't seen you in 3 years, and everyone says, Miss Cassandra, now I'm mispronouncing my own name, Miss Cassandra. That's my name, but my students say Miss Cassandra.
I know it drives you up a wall.
That's okay. I'm gonna call you every day. I'm gonna text you every day.
Indeed.
No, and you go off and you do great things. How do we meet up again? How do we connect?
Well, I'll just to say one thing. I did reach out. You made yourself available and you said if you ever have any questions, reach out. I didn't do it often, but I did do it. And I appreciated that you always picked up the phone. Even if you just called, missed my call and called me back and left me a voicemail answering my question, or you text messaged me. I think that also was an important resource, having that ongoing support, that you didn't just leave us hanging. Hey, you took the course and you're off, you're on your own. I appreciated that. But this year in 2025, I decided to take the brand ambassador course. And that is where we met up again. And I said, hey, it's me. Remember me? One of your former students. Of course, you probably taught so many of us. You don't remember, but you did remember me. And I appreciated that. And I was so excited to be able to let you know again that how much I appreciated you giving us the confidence to just start, and how this thing can just grow in just 3 years. The love that my clients have poured into me and the confidence that they have given me and trusting me with their hair. Someone who's new to this industry, but still realizing that, hey, this is someone who cares about my hair. They're properly trained. They're doing all the things that they're supposed to do. And I like that about my hair. I feel like all of that together gave me the confidence, along with my fellow locticians, my fellow Sisterlocks loctician community here. We small, but we still exist. And we're just backing each other up. Yeah, we should take that course. Yes, you take it too. Okay, you let me know how it's going. Okay, yeah, I want to take that course too. I think those are the things, where it's like iron sharpening iron, and it helps to always make sure that we're doing things, that's Sisterlocks way, and representing the brand the way it should be represented. And that gives the Sisterlocks clients who have invested in Sisterlocks all these years the confidence to be like, okay, they're still here, y'all. Even after, I have clients who have had their Sisterlocks for 10, 15 years. And, they transfer on the island in the middle of nowhere to come to Hawaii, and they can feel confident in their hair experience, because it's like, hey, it's somebody who does Sisterlocks here. So that's what I'm thinking about. Those are the things. And I think because I am a Sisterlocks client myself, those are the things I'm thinking about, because I've been on both sides of the chair to know what that client wants. And I'm giving them the experience I would want to have. So.
But I'm so proud. Let me just say, I am so proud, because, the way you're representing the brand and, becoming a brand ambassador, that continuing education, that really lets people know that you take Sisterlocks seriously, right? Our clients pay a lot of money for their Sisterlocks, especially, over the years. And I appreciate, in class, I know, I'm very direct and I'm very by the book, and but that's what I do. And there's this misconception that, in the hair care industry, that we're not professional, or that we don't take what we do seriously and things like that. Whereas I feel like the majority of people take what we do, very seriously, and the services that we provide, to our clients, and we have a pride in that. And so just to hear you say that, it gives me chills to hear you talk about the positive Sisterlock community that you have, how you uplift one another, and how you, just talk about continuing education. Because sometimes I call social media my frenemy, right? There's so many amazing, great things on there, but also we can also have these pockets or communities or people really who just always have to be negative about stuff. You know what I mean? And not supportive. And that doesn't mean that you can't be critical or something or not like something. It's all in how you say it. So I just love to hear that, that genuineness from you.
Yes.
So
I'm not
now,
gonna feed the we all about positivity over here. And it's just I think that's a mindset that comes with time. And the older I get, I can't tolerate negativity and drama. And it just doesn't feed me, it doesn't serve me. And again, even in my communities, my spaces, so the fellow locticians here, we have healthy competition. It's like we keep the lines of communication open. Hey, you know what? I have a weekend client. I can't service her any longer because I don't have the availability like that she's requesting. But here's some other resources for you. I love being able to say that. I love being able to say, let me refer you to the lady who's my loctician, who does my hair. That way you're having that conversation. Like, okay, she's not just trying to blow me off. She really, is invested in my hair journey, even though I'm not going to stay with her services. And I think that is something that I didn't realize was a rare thing. I think it's something that we could all improve on, but it's something that we have no choice but to be that way because we're so limited in resources. Being out here in the middle of nowhere, we are forced to make it work. And some people who don't, that doesn't align with them, even no problem. But for those that it does, we have it. We have our community, and that's what it's all about in the end.
yeah. Look, I agree with you because where I am in San Diego, my clientele is very transient. So I have a lot of military clients, government contractors, but also just being in Southern California, it's a little bit pricey.
That's right.
So people come, they leave. And so I always tell my clients from the moment I establish their locks, I am training them, how often they should get their hair retightened, that they should be using Sisterlocks products. I try to prepare them as much as possible so that one day, if they have to go to another consultant, whether it's once, twice, or, long term, they'll be, oh, I'm sorry, my little eye. There we go. Whether it's, long term, that when they go see someone else, that they're prepared, they know what to look for. I let them know I'm not trying to, push you out of my chair, but people have to transfer, because of distance.
Right.
People come really far to, to see their consultant, whether they're driving a few hours or flying in. Sometimes it's scheduling, our schedules don't, meet up. And sometimes it can also be pricing. It doesn't matter what those issues are. I always try to support my clients so they can have beautiful locks, whether or not I'm doing their hair at all. Matter of fact, recently, one of my clients, I've been doing her hair for probably at least 9 years. She's had her locks.
Wow.
And I started her from the very beginning. And now she has a second consultant, because several months out of the year, she's not here in California. So I have to share her, but it's fine. Her consultant does a beautiful, job on her. And why would I want her not to have her hair done so that it's looking rough, just so that I can say that I did your hair, or just so that I can make that money? That's not fair, to our
Yeah.
clients. So, I appreciate that. But I want to transition just a little bit, because we talked about Sisterlocks. Your locks are beautiful.
Thank you.
I absolutely love them. They're so cute.
My loctician is Sonoma here on the island.
Okay, what's her name again?
Her name is Sonoma Marion, Lockology by Sonoma, and she has maintained my locks since the very beginning. Yep.
Well,
Yep.
look, she's doing a good job.
Yeah.
I just want to transition a little bit because we talked about having everything in balance. Are you a full-time Sisterlocks consultant?
No, I'm not. I am proudly a part-time Sisterlocks brand ambassador. And I think that balance is for a reason. I think that there's a lot of work that's done outside of client service in the time, and I like to make sure that I have time to work on my schedule, to work on my, okay, this is a holiday, this is a calendar, I need to shift some people around. I have people onboarding, I have people leaving. We're transient in the same way. And I like to reserve that time to myself so I don't wear myself out. So my clients know what's going on for the rest of the year. They know, okay, my appointments are coming up on these dates. I have flexibility. I have the option to reschedule if I need to because life sometimes, but I need that time to myself to rest my muscles, my body, make sure my station is clean. I don't think we need to be on 24/7. I think that if we work smart, we can work just as hard. And so I pride myself on the fact that I only work 3 to 4 days a week to doing Sister Locks. I feel like that's why I have kept my joy doing Sister Locks. I think when we do stuff full throttle, full time, and without vacations, without time off, it becomes this thing where that we don't enjoy, and this thing that we don't look forward to anymore, and we start making more mistakes, and we start giving ourselves more work to repair. And so that's a me thing. I've learned over the years what works, and what works for me is part-time.
Well, I can really relate to you because over the years, I've been doing Sister Locks now for 19 years.
Oh,
I did my first establishment and I quit my job. I've been doing Sister ever since. Over the years, I've had to, find balance, right? So I've done, full time, sometimes doing 12, 14 days in a row. But more recently, in recent years, pretty much right after COVID, when I started working again, I don't come into work until 1 o'clock. Okay. I
yeah.
take 2 days off a week. I don't come in until 1 o'clock. And I only see two clients a day generally. And I know that is kind of rare. People, they'll see, three, sometimes four clients in a day. I see a 1 o'clock. I have a 5 o'clock. That gives me enough time to have my lunch, do whatever I need to do. A lot of my retinees take us approximately like around 3 hours because a lot of my clients tend to have um, uh, higher volume, so they have more locks. They like a fuller look. And I've noticed that I'm an early morning person, so I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but I like to have my mornings to myself. So when I
Yeah.
have my mornings to myself and I come in at 1 o'clock, I am ready to see my clients, and it just
Yeah.
makes a difference. And it's funny because for a lot of years, I didn't do that on my weekends. I would come in at 10 and I would still see two clients. And I thought about it. I was like, this is your business. Why don't you come in at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
And I am, so much more happier. I've already, eaten for, a couple of meals for the day. I've drinking my water. I've gotten all my paperwork done. So that's another way I provide have balance in my business as me being a trainer. So once a month I teach a class. So that totally switches my brain, right? Because being with my clients, that's relaxing. We chill, we talk, we giggle, and going into, teacher mode, really having to step up and be there and be on that whole time. Because when we're in class, I will not let you give up. I am not going to let you shut down, you know. And so that's a way that I have, some balance by switching it up that way. So I appreciate what you're saying. So
Love it.
you're doing part-time with your sister locks, you said, 3 to 4 days a week. What do you do with the rest, of your time?
Well, my what you see behind me, I have a YouTube channel where my primary focus is being better with money, the money that you already have. And so I teach my viewers how to be responsible with their income by budgeting it, saving it, investing it, and using it to pay down and pay off debt so you can live your best life. And one of the ways that I do that is by recording YouTube content and selling budget products such as wallets and cash envelopes and budget planners and budget books and anything that will help people to stay on this responsible money journey and break those bad habits where we just blow money just because we got paid on Friday or because that money hit our bank account. And it's so funny because I feel like a lot of it is kind of like it aligns with what I do with Sister Locks too, because it's like, we got to be on a schedule. We got to, maintain our hair. We got to be good with, making sure we're budgeting so we have the money to afford our retightenings. And so it kind of goes hand in hand. And so it just starts that good money conversation where we talk about how we respect money and we give it a place, we give it a job, we tell it what to do, we don't let it run us. And I'm sharing my money journey on how I'm getting better with money. So I've been doing that for about 10 years. And it's something it started as a passion project, something I did just every once in a while, but now it's something that I show up for on a weekly basis. And so that's what I do. And I also homeschool my daughter. In fact, I'm just navigating and switching her to an online program, live program here in Hawaii. So I have a little bit more of my time freed up because I have a high schooler now. And
Oh,
so,
wow.
make sure that she graduates with her peers. The name of my YouTube channel is my name, Rochelle Adamson Budgets. That's my name on YouTube.
And then do you have a website?
Yes, my website is rochelleadamson.com. Just starting out, I remember it like it was yesterday. The first thing that you need to do is set up your business with as many free options as possible. It is free, next to free, to set up a booking site. It is free to set up your social media presence. It is free to make phone calls and text messages to let people know what you're all about. And I use the apps, such as Canva and all those other type of apps. It's free. Go on there and start marketing your services. People honestly respond to your marketing and your word of mouth and your personality and just seeing you show up in your business more than all of that cute stuff and having the best videos and the best content. I feel like the content that I do post, I post it responsibly. I'm posting with intention. I'm posting to answer a question that a future client might have who's been lurking and being nosy. I think those are the things that you can control and that you need to go ahead and throw yourself out there and do in the very beginning. Go ahead and set up your business legally. Go ahead and get used to the fact you should be paying taxes every year. Let's set up your business in the way it's supposed to be in the state that you live in. Go ahead and start reaching out to your community. Hey, I just finished taking a Sisterlocks class, and I just wanted to introduce myself. My name is Rochelle, and I'm a Sisterlocks trainee. I just came from home office and took the course with Cassandra, and I had a great time, but I still have some questions. How did you get started? Do you have any clients that you have, that are waiting for your services that I could help in the meantime? Go ahead and start throwing yourself out there and being intentional, and don't blow the budget. Don't blow the bank. You aren't making any money, so you shouldn't be spending any money. I mean, there's things out of your control, like maybe a business filing to register your business, $25 here, but it's free to set up those things. You probably already have a good ring light in your house anyway. So don't go buying the newest ring light and the newest camera or the newest chair or the newest. Let's start with the things that Sisterlocks already gives you. They're going to make sure you have your tools to work with. They're going to make sure you have, you've already got that mannequin from class. So you make that mannequin make you some money. That mannequin, I didn't, and it's funny, I didn't even get a chance to post my mannequin because I made a Canva. My first post was me in front of the Sisterlocks home office. And I'm like, hey, y'all, look where I've been. And then I think my second picture is like a picture of my classmates and you. And it was just like, hey, y'all. And everybody was just excited for me. And the other thing is to separate that content. Please don't post that on your personal Instagram. If you're going to post social media, it needs to be your business Sisterlocks page. Let's go ahead and show out and show people that we mean business and that we value them. And those are some of the small things that I did in the very beginning. And like I said, I was on that plane. That plane landed from San Diego to Hawaii, and I had my first booking. And I think I texted you like, oh my God, I got my first booking. But it's just like, you can never time when people are going to book with you. It blows my mind with how I can never time it. I try to, say, okay, I'm going to shut the books down and everything else going to have to be a waiting list. And then next thing you know, the wait list is full of 50 people. But then sometimes I'm on E. And, and it's the transient, it's the ebb and flow. And you just have to get used to that and be responsible with the dollars that you're bringing in so that it will hold you over in those thin times. And I think those are things that you can do. Just work on what you can control. You cannot control when a client is going to feel like picking up the phone. It's like they can almost smell desperation.
Yes.
Don't do it. Don't try to time it. Don't beg. You can be respectful. But throw yourself out there. I'm in a nail shop. I walk by, I see somebody's Sisterlocks. Never forget it. I saw somebody's Sisterlocks. I said, girl, your hair is beautiful. I just wanted to let you know I love your hair. I said, I picked up on it because I do Sisterlocks, and it was so funny. It was like, you got to be able to turn lemons to lemonade. She was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. She was like, I don't need a new loctician. I'm happy where I am. And she thought I was trying to take her business,
Yes.
But I said, oh, no. I said, honestly, I just, I'm new to Sisterlocks on the island. And it's so rare to see someone with sister locks here. I was just letting you know. And I said, by the way, who does your hair? And she said the lady's name, the locticians. I said, oh, I said, I just talked to her yesterday. I said, she, and she, her face kind of like softened, and she was like, oh. And little did she know, the funny part was this loctician was about to move military. So she was leaving. And so she had already reached out to me, saying, hey, Rochelle, are you ready to take on some more clients? Because I'm leaving. And I have her to this day in my chair. Like, I'm so glad that she was like, I kind of, came across as a certain way. Thank you for still taking. Yes. So that's why I say, just, you never know who you're going to see and who's watching you. Just do your best.
Yeah. Look, I agree on that. Throughout my career, I've never asked someone, do they want sister locks? I've never asked them, can I do your hair? But just me being, excited about what I do, talking to people, they will reach out to you. And that's my advice when you come across desperate, or when you're trying to give your services away for free. I don't even understand that. Because it's not even, money is important, but people don't value things that you're not putting a value to. And, people, trainings will be a little bit saddened because that relationship might not work out the way that you wanted it to. First of all, you chased her up the block 4 blocks, right? You chased her up the street because you saw that she had natural hair. And then you begged her to do the consultation. I'll do it for free. She ain't never even heard of it. She ain't never been to the website, but you insisting that she needs to do Sisterlocks and that is her future, and you kind of, force them to do it. And then you're wondering why they don't want to use Sisterlocks products, why they don't want to have their hair, retightened, regularly. I tell people, if you're just excited about what you do and you give people facts, tell them that you finished your mannequin, tell them what your prices are. It doesn't matter if they're red, black, blue, green, man, woman, child, just tell people will, find you and they will reach out to you. Before we close out, our conversation, I just feel like, it's very refreshing because in this chapter of my life, I am a cancer survivor. As of this year, I was diagnosed with fallopian tube cancer in December of last year. I had surgery. I had chemo. I'm fine now. I'm still having to, do things to recover, but I have really, really embraced in 2025 finding that balance. You can still have your passion, have your loves, but balance means having boundaries, having those boundaries, and whether that is with your family, your friends, and with your clients. We love our clients, right? And one of my big boundaries is just my scheduling. I'm going to come in at 1:00. Doesn't mean that occasionally I won't come in earlier because we have a special event or we have something, or I start my establishments early in the morning. But that balance has been a blessing to me, for me to be able to take time off and allow my community to take care of my clients. I enlisted 8 different consultants to take care of my clients when I was in recovery from my surgery. And my Sisterlock community, around San Diego, they really stepped up. They took care of my clients. All my clients, was, happy with their retightings and stuff. They couldn't wait to get back. And they also worked with me with my schedule as I was going through my chemo. I was still able to see Sisterlocks clients, and people think it's crazy, but my clients, they really kind of, support me. They do what I ask them to do. So it's not a stressful thing. So to go to work a couple of days, out of the week or whatever, it really made a difference in, me just kind of being at home, being a patient. And so this podcast came right on time. Okay. Wow. I just gonna thank you so much for chatting with me today. And I look forward, we're going to put this out here right now, let's do a follow-up next year.
Okay.
Let's do a follow-up so we can see what we're what you're doing because you're a new brand ambassador, right?
That's right.
And so I would love to see, what have you done since then? Has anything changed? Is it the same? Um, Thank you so much. Is there anything you want to say before we go?
Thank you for having me today. And thank you for just starting the conversation. I think that conversation is all these types of things that we talked about today are things that people should know and be able to hear before they even come for a consultation. Before they even These are the things, this is what makes Sisterlocks human. You know what I mean? Like this is about us. This is the realness. I feel like this is the raw version of Sisterlocks that people deserve to know exists, so that they can have something to compare to the noise and to the beast. And so that's what we're all about. The right ones will find it. And I hope that everyone enjoys their Sisterlocks journey and starts it.
Okay. Thank you so much. I just want to say, please continue to support us here on the channel. Like and subscribe. Look at me being a YouTuber.
That's right.
And I'm putting myself out there because this content is important. But if you don't support it, there's really no reason for us to continue. Everyone have a great day, and you can find us at sisterlocks.com. Bye.
Bye.